So my experience with Giovanni was quite exceptional at Rebalancing Health. I spent 2 months with him in the program, very structured, very methodical, and he took me through a journey essentially where I came to understand my body on a much more deep level, at a deeper level. Because essentially my purpose behind joining Rebalanced Health and teaming up with Giovanni for those 2 months was to understand my body in a more in-depth way, my musculature and my physiology essentially, and what kind of imbalances do I have in my body and how to mend them. Because let's face it, none of us are perfectly symmetrical. We all have discrepancies here and there and imbalances. And so I joined up with Rebalancing Health, and it was quite insightful, to be honest. I came to understand exactly what are the discrepancies in my body. For the first 2 sessions that I've done with Giovanni, he took me through a series of some totally in-depth and thorough, shall we say, thorough, assiduous and meticulous tests on my body, measurements to see which shoulder is higher than the other, which hip joint is higher than the other, which parts of the pelvis are out of alignment, any scoliosis in the spine, is the lower jaw misaligned with the rest of the skull. So many things in depth, right, from the back, from the side. And I never knew you can do so many tests on a human being to see how imbalanced they are. And I'm glad that was the case, because I had a lot of trust in that afterwards, because it means that whichever practices he gave me, I could trust him because he was so thorough in the testing sessions, pretty much, which were a few hours actually, which was great. That's what you need. Bang for your buck, as they say. And so the practice sessions afterwards took me through a series of stretching exercises and a combination of Swiss balls, certain weights, dumbbells, and bars, and it was very, very incredible. Now I have flown to the other side of the world in Guatemala, came all the way from Australia, and now I've taken these practices with me, and I'm practicing them. And I came to Giovanni with lower right back pain, and now it's gone, because I found out what are the discrepancies in my body and how to fix them. Most other practice that you might do have a shotgun approach, to them, and the way they tell it to you is keep doing what you're doing and you'll get there, but that's no guarantee. Whereas this is more like a sniper approach to it, a bullseye approach to it, where figure out what's wrong, get it out of the way, and that's that, right? What's your intention, and let's fulfill that, essentially. And that's pretty damn good. And that's the best you can get for one-on-one, really, sessions. And so, highly recommend Rebalancing Health with Giovanni. And not only did I learn more about my musculature, physicality, and the discrepancies in my body on a physical plane, but also how are certain emotions kept within our musculature, and for what reasons, and where do they stem from. That made me contemplate that as well. As they say, our issues are in our tissues, and if you move your tissues, you resolve your issues. And so it made me think of it in a more narrow view as well. Before it was again like a shotgun approach with that expression, but now it made me view it, okay, my lower right back pain, essentially, what could be the cause of that in my life? What could be the cause of scoliosis in my lower back? What caused that? What's going on in my emotions these days, and what do I want, essentially? And if I were to fix this physical part of my body, will it resurface again in another injury? Because what am I doing? What are my habits, right? Because you know how it goes. If you maintain a certain emotional disposition for far enough, your body's gonna start catching up. So if I don't feel confident, I'm gonna start, getting that kyphosis, that hunchback in a way. And if you're not conscious of that, then you will get a hunchback. But if you're conscious that, oh, I'm not feeling confident these days, I feel trodden upon, I feel down in the dirt a little bit, you can keep your spine straight and your shoulders back, so you can make sure that your physicality won't catch up and you won't fall into this rut, this black hole of thinking, feeling, And so this program really made me think of my body in that way, emotions and physicality catching up to each other, and how can I mend one in order to allow the other to catch up. You know, if I sit back like this, my confidence is gonna come back to me. You know what I mean? So if I smile long enough, if I feel sad, if I smile long enough, my body's gonna be like, oh, he's smiling. There must be something that's making him happy, and so I'm gonna start feeling happy. And so this program made me think of my body in a more holistic way, really. And I guess that's the whole point. That's what I joined. I signed up for Rebalancing Health with Giovanni is because it's holistic, and that's what a Czech practitioner would do. You know, he approaches things holistically, emotionally, physically, and also when it comes to my nutrition, I came to a lot of deep insights about my nutrition and what should I eat and when, what times of the day, and food combinations as well. That's a whole can of worms by itself, and I got to explore that as well and learn more about it. And so, highly recommend Giovanni Rebalancing Health. It's been quite the journey, and the benefits far outweigh the effort that's gone into it, and that's something so worthwhile.